Hello, Split Snako here with another figure review. Today we have got playing on your YouTube, Marvel Select, Rhino, what can we say about this big boy? For starters, although he's a big boy, in comparison to other selects, he's actually one of the smallest of the larger characters, if that makes sense. I'll do some size comparisons later on, you'll see what I mean. But overall opinions on this figure. I really do like this figure, and I am very glad that I do actually own it, but it kind of suffers from the very similar problems as the Marvel Select Hulk that I reviewed the other day. Amazing sculpt, amazing paintwork, articulation is desired, and I don't know, it's when with these large characters I just don't understand their choices. I think the best large character they have done to date is the Juggernaut, and that one to me has almost perfect articulation, great sculpt, great paintwork, and is almost spot on. Everything before that just seems to be a bit blah. So let's get on to this guy. So as you can see, he got a very comic accurate look to him, an old style comic. I think his look changed. I'm not 100% on that. It's been a while since I've read some old comics, but yeah, definitely does come with a very, very cool look. A nice menacing, grimming face, which I think is really decent. Looks like he's angry and ready to charge. You can see he's actually got like a little rhino eye, which I think is a very cool little touch. They didn't need to add that. And those horns are sculpted and painted really, really well. With the back of the head, you can see that he has some nice wrinkles in there, and then some great texture going throughout the shoulders. All in all, I think his suit looks really, really good. It does just look like a rhino skin and has some great thickness to it and looks like there's some armor plating to it. Really, really does look very, very cool. Scrolling down. He even comes with like rhino toes, and these again are really well painted. And they're well sculpted, so very, very happy with them. The sculpt in the back of his legs is also really, really good. And his hands, again, really, really well sculpted. The sculpt is something I definitely cannot flaw on Marvel Select. I can't think of a single one of their figures which hasn't been sculpted beautifully. As you can see from the bottom of his feet, it just has some kind of shape to them. And then 2 peg holes. Okay, size comparison. Rhino stands to the top of his head 8.5 inches, to the top of his horns 9 inches. Usual suspects: a Bucky cap, Superior Spider-Man, Ultimate Captain America, Spider-Girl, she looks so dinky, Hyperion, Toy Biz Fearsome Foes box set Rhino. We'll do more of a comparison of these in a bit. Toy Biz Sinister 6 box set Spider-Man, personally one of my all-time favourite Spider-Man figures. Marvel Select The Thing, Marvel Select Juggernaut, and Marvel Select Incredible Hulk. See what I mean when I say he's probably not the biggest of them? I think he should definitely be bigger, but he's still a nice size. Okay, articulation. The head is on, I think, a ball inside the lower of the neck. So not actually attached to the head, but attached at the lower of the neck. So with that, you can go down that much and up that much. You can go side to side on it there. That's pretty cool. And you can rotate it around from there to there. You might be able to work with it and go a bit more, but honestly, it's very hindered by the shoulders. His shoulders are on ball discs and they can go round 360 degrees. You know, I might find a slight hindrance with the sculpt of the shoulder and the chest sculpting, but not terrible. And they can go out that much. No bicep rotation. We then have a elbow rotation, which can do 360 degrees. And then there's a single bend of that much, but can rotate from there to there. Then we have a simple wrist rotation of 360 degrees. He has a diaphragm joint So he can go forward that much. And it looks pretty good. They've sculpted underneath us. That's really nice. And can go back that much. So not a great range in there. You can go from side to side that much. That's pretty good. And you can rotate around 360 degrees. This is where my biggest complaint comes in, is the angle of the hips and the sculpt of the hips. If I show you that, the pegs are literally going in at that angle, like there. But due to the sheer size of his thigh and the gap they give you, you can only bring his leg forward that much. So that is his Spartan, which is not great for a charging character when you really want his legs to be able to get him into some of those really decent bent over charging poses. So as hard as I can do it, that's as far as I can get. Going out to the side, here's a split of that. That's not terrible to be honest. I can't really complain about that. There's nothing in the thigh. Opposed rotation, I guess, at the actual peg. You can rotate that around. Then you have a rotation in the knee of 360 degrees. Now, due to the sculpt, there is actually a groove here for the kneecap, so it fits in there quite nicely. But anywhere else, and you're going to get a slight bend. But you can get a bend of that much out of it, and that's pretty much throughout. And then finally, he has an ankle point from there to there, but he does have the ankle pivot. You can still get him into some pretty decent poses, and I do still really like this figure. I just want to point out something I've just noticed while doing the articulation. His face is actually a separate piece to the head. So they've actually painted and molded that and attached it. So like I said, you can still get him into some decent poses, and it does look cool. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, you can kind of get him into a charge pose. It takes quite a bit of finessing, and it's not the easiest to do. Just wanted to add this in there. I've managed to get him in a running pose, one-legged. Nothing under here, nothing behind here. And as you can see, there is nothing propping him up. I can't really show you, but I'm kind of going over top of him. Just on him, and just to prove to you. See? And so it is possible to get him to balance on the 1 foot. It's just incredibly difficult. Take note of this pose. Very hunched over forward. Okay, so I said I'd do a quick comparison between these two before we actually end the video. Sculpt, this one. Articulation, this one. Size, this one. Price, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, because this one comes only in a box set, so I don't know how much he's actually worth now. Which one would I pick out of two? Personally, I do like this one for the sheer sculpt of it. I know I'm normally all about articulation, but for me, I think it has to be this one. I prefer the bulk compared to the articulation, but they're both still stupendously great figures. I will do a review of this one if you guys wish. Give me a shout in the comments down below. If I get enough people wanting it, I'll do a review of this guy. Final thoughts on this figure. Would I recommend him? Yes, I would recommend this figure if you can find him for a reasonable price. I think that articulation really does let this one down, much like this guy. Again, I think that sculpt is absolutely phenomenal, and they've really blown that out of the park. Even the paint apps, I like the dry brushing of the lighter grey over top of the darker grey. I just wish they would have given us the traditional bicep rotations and a knee bend. I just think it would have been a lot better. But, you know, that's my usual gripe with most figures today. So, like I said, if you can find him for a reasonable price, then yes, I would recommend him. If you're happy with just a difficult to pose figure with a great sculpt, then by all means. But I'm just trying to give you guys an honest review about this figure and my own personal opinion. So anyway guys, that is my review. If you have enjoyed this video, please drop me a like down below. Please add any comments you'd like to add about this figure, about my channel, or maybe about any other figures you'd like me to review. I have tons of NECA ones which I'm dying to get out there. I'm just trying to find the time to squeeze them all in. Plus I have loads of Hasbro and a few more selects to do. So let me know what you guys would love to see next. I'll give you a sneak peek of my NECA video game characters so far. So let me know out of all them which ones you would like to see. Of course, I've already done Raziel, but I haven't done any of the others. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and as per usual, keep collecting. Bye-bye. had any comments you'd like to add about this figure and about the rest of my channel, and also which